Coverage you can count on continuing with advice on how to talk to your children about sexual abuse. News Channel 6's Devin Johnson covering that for us. He's live in our newsroom. And Devin, I know a local woman, this is really interesting, has created a resource for parents and caregivers that'll teach their children how to avoid becoming sexual abuse victims.
Brad, Suzette Walker wrote a children's book about inappropriate touching. The book, Don't You Dare Touch Me There, teaches young children when to say no in uncomfortable situations. Talking to your kids about their bodies can be a tough time for parents. The book, Don't You Dare Touch Me There, serves as a resource to help parents educate their kids. Author and survivor of sexual abuse, Suzette Walker says, parents need to have open conversations about their child's body and boundaries as early as the age of 4.
If we're able to introduce it right now, it's not as awkward even for children. It's a conversation that's already going on, so it's easier for parents to kind of jump into it and piggyback off that.
Experts say 1 in 10 kids will be sexually abused by the time they turn 18.
The boogeyman is most often someone that the children know, so it's important to even let them know that if it's somebody that you're close to, if you're uncomfortable with being touched, it's perfectly fine. We encourage them to say something.
The executive director for Child Enrichment, Inc. says parents have to make proactive choices to protect children before abuse happens.
90% of kids are sexually abused by somebody they know. So it's really confusing to a child when they're go to Easter and they say, go hug your Uncle Johnny. And that's confusing when they're saying they have to do that.
Viola Brooks says it starts by teaching kids the proper name of their private areas when potty training or during bath time.
If your child goes to school and says somebody touched my coin purse and you don't know that they're talking about their private part, the teacher may not know they need to make a report about that.
Both Viola Brooks and Walker tell me the book should be in areas where kids spend most of their time.
We need the community to go out, buy that book, get the book, read it to their kids.
If there's a child that you are connected to in any area of your life, the book should be available in those areas.
Some signs that a child has experienced abuse are more obvious than others. If you suspect a child being abused, contact the authorities. Jenny, to you.
Coverage you can count on continues now with the All-America City taking its first step in reshaping the downtown area. News Channel 6's Devin Johnson is live in downtown Aiken. Devin, city leaders are working to rezone 10 blocks of the business district.
Jenny, Aiken is voted as the South's best small town. Well, they want to keep that reputation by growing and improving some of the parts in downtown Aiken. In Monday's Aiken City Council meeting, council members approved the first reading of the ordinance to rezone 100 parcels. The ordinance includes properties on Park Avenue, Williamsburg Street, Barnwell Avenue, and Union Street. The city's planning director says the city wants to expand the area of the downtown business district.
It promotes more of the kind of businesses you see downtown, so small retail, restaurants, offices.
There are 163 lots in the proposed zoning ordinance. 43 of those lots are vacant. Bland says more people want to live downtown. Passing the ordinance will make that a reality.
And they all say the same thing: we want more residences downtown. Currently, the zoning there disallows that.
The executive director for Aiken Downtown Development Association tells me even though Aiken is growing, they're sticking with the hometown feel.
Aiken is so much more than a small town, but we're so much more, we don't have that big town feel either, which makes us so special.
Knight says they're looking at businesses to put in that area to attract more people to move there.
We'll be able to keep it the way it is and rebuild from that rather than setting it back off the road and meeting those other requirements of the general business district.
Aiken leaders hope the new zoning ordinance will make abandoned buildings more confining and give people the flexibility on how they can develop the lot.
People wanting to rebuild homes in that area, but at the same time be able to facilitate the same type of commercial development that's been there historically too. So most if not all of the current businesses that are in that area would be permitted currently and under the new zoning.
The Salvation Army that's on Park Avenue is not included on the ordinance. Now, the second and final reading for the ordinance to take effect will be in the next city council meeting on May 13th at 7 o'clock. Live in downtown Aiken, Devin Johnson, WJBF, News Channel 6.
New at 10 tonight, the search for suspects continues after a shooting that investigators say began as people in two cars shooting at each other as they drove down the road and ended with one of those cars crashing into a North Augusta home. Devin Johnson is live in the newsroom with the latest on what law enforcement knows tonight. Devin.
John, the neighbors I spoke to say the neighborhood is usually quiet, and they tell me they would never expect a drive-by shooting to happen right in front of them. North Augusta Public Safety got the call to a shooting near Piercing Drive and Alta Vista Avenue. The officers got there around 9:30 Tuesday night and found two men injured by gunshot wounds. Neighbors say the gunmen inside the cars were trying to shoot at each other.
When I realized the two cars that were coming by, they slowed almost to a stop. I realized they were firing out of them, so I turned around and made it back up my driveway.
Rucker Forbes says she was outside on her porch reading when one of the cars crashed.
I saw a car go careening, bouncing down, and it ended up in that apartment.
Another neighbor whose yard was destroyed in the shooting says they thought it was fireworks.
Yeah, we were watching television last night, so we were in a back room, and we definitely heard the gunshots starting from down the road. It was hard to tell at first where they were coming from.
The report also says a deputy located two handguns, loose cash, and a black book bag with drugs inside of it. Story says she believes the neighborhood can return back to normal.
I don't think there's too much concern that it's going to happen again or that people are fearful or anything like that, but it's mostly just shocking that it can happen in your own neighborhood.
Other neighbors I talked to who didn't want to go on camera say they heard about 100 gunshots that night.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was two different guns, I think, and casings on one of them was very large.
And I also reached out to the city's administrator. He says Tuesday's shooting will not stain the vision of North Augusta in building a better and bigger city. George?
Thanks, Devin. Right now, cloudy.